This is the Great Bay Estuary, located in southeastern New Hampshire. The bay is one of several bodies of water that make up the Piscataqua-Salmon Falls watershed, a prominent example of a hydrospheric earth system within the region. The watershed is comprised of many streams, rivers, and lakes within New Hampshire and Maine that make their way into the Piscataqua River, which here partly diverges into the Great Bay, and also continues downriver into Portsmouth Harbor, and finally drains into the Atlantic Ocean. The unique junction of the powerful Atlantic tides and the tributaries' fresh water provide a rich environment in which biodiversity can thrive. However, due to centuries of human impact, the environmental quality is and has been in decline, particularly within the Great Bay Estuary. One of the most pressing issues is eelgrass habitat loss. Eelgrass is found underwater and along the shorelines of the estuary. Healthy swatches of eelgrass are critical to the vitality of the interconnected biosphere. Eelgrass is important for sediment deposition, water filtration, and nursery grounds for many species of fish, shellfish, and phytoplankton. A water habitat without eelgrass is like a forest without trees. It is a keystone component to the ecosystem. The decline in eelgrass habitats is directly linked to unchecked development associated with population growth, which has resulted in increased nutrient loads from poorly managed sewage wastewater and from non-point source pollution. High levels of nitrogen promote the unnatural growth of seaweeds and algae, which block sunlight and choke out the eelgrass. A recent study shows that the estuary's nitrogen load has increased by 42% in 5 years. That is a significant disruption to the natural water cycle. About a third of the excess nitrogen is attributed to treated wastewater that is dumped directly back into the water cycle by sewage treatment plants such as this one in Portsmouth. There are 14 plants within the watershed that dump a total of 20 million gallons of wastewater a day. There are regulations on nitrogen output, but plants are not required to remove nitrogen from their wastewater completely. Portsmouth's sewage treatment plant, built in 1964, had violated the Clean Water Act for years, and is currently under legal agreement with the Environmental Protection Agency to upgrade its facilities. Stricter nitrogen limits imposed by the EPA are now forcing communities to reassess their wastewater treatment. This means towns are now faced with the challenge of reconciling their environmental impact with their economic concerns. The other 2/3 of excess nitrogen is linked to non-point source pollution, or NPS. NPS is caused by runoff stormwater that picks up natural and man-made pollutants as it moves over the ground. It can come in the form of sediment from improperly managed construction sites, fertilizers and insecticides, oil, grease, toxic chemicals, and bacteria and animal waste. There are 52 towns between New Hampshire and Maine within the watershed's boundaries. Increasing areas of paved, impervious surfaces intensify the runoff generated within these surrounding communities because the water is diverted from its natural seepage into the ground. Notice how water collects and runs off these impervious concrete and asphalt surfaces. To counter this effect, pervious surfaces have been implemented as a low-impact development technique. Pervious concrete and asphalt allow water to pass directly through, reducing runoff and NPS and allowing groundwater recharge. It is calculated that impervious surfaces are increasing by 1,500 acres per year. Without taking proper precautions, this kind of rapid development will continue to place significant burden on the natural ecosystems. The extensive watershed has provided important transportation routes and essential sources of economic activity for centuries. As industries and communities continue to expand, it is essential that citizens and businesses are conscious of their influence on the surrounding watershed. If a collective effort is not made to improve the way we treat our lawns, treat our waste, and develop our land, this national treasure may soon be beyond repair.